Hi, I'm Lisa, and this is me officially starting over. If you don't make decisions, life will make those decisions for you. Not sugarcoating it, not putting the influencer aesthetic on it. It's been hard. This was supposed to be a cute video. It's not going to be a cute video because my makeup's going to be ruined. When I tell people don't stress me, I literally mean it. As somebody who constantly didn't follow through with the things that they said they were gonna do, would you be in a relationship with somebody like that? No. So why would you be in a relationship like that with yourself? I cannot. Hello guys, hi. I'm trying to laugh. I guess I'm nervous laughing right now. I would say I usually don't get nervous, but that's a lie, I do. But before we get into all of the deep stuff, hello, hi, my name is Lisa and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, hi, hello, and welcome. If you're not new here, hi guys, welcome back. How are you doing? If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button for me, pretty please. Please, whilst you're at it, you might as well go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up. Click that like button and like the video because I'm pretty sure you will like the video. I mean, I hope you like the video. I really do hope so. If not, this is kind of a bit awkward. Anyways, I'm gonna get straight into this video. I am here to do a chatty life update, what's going on with me video in the past year and a half. I've been present sometimes, apart from when I disappear, but I actually haven't really been here. There's been so much going on in the background, good and bad things. I'm usually quite vulnerable and transparent with you guys about what's going on with me, and I would hope that that's something you like and appreciate about my channel. Should I just lean back so my back doesn't hurt? However, the past year and a half, I've definitely kept a lot more to myself than I usually do. I wasn't ready to talk about everything. Why am I already getting emotional? This is ridiculous. I can't be crying because I'm going to mess up my makeup, and more so because I actually hadn't come to terms with everything I was dealing with. I'm not sure if you would say in denial, but I definitely was not where I am today. Today I decided to make this video regardless of what's going on, because I have realized that I'm never going to be quite ready. If you know anything about me, I am a perfectionist. I like to do things to perfection if I can. I spend hours and days and weeks obsessing over the smallest and tiniest of details. However, sometimes perfectionism and procrastination go hand in hand, and that definitely applies to me. I am a perfectionist to the point of procrastination. I want things to be done so perfectly that I end up doing nothing at all. That is something that I've realized in the last couple of months. Perfectionism is not always a good thing. It got to the point where I had to sit down and be honest with myself and ask myself, Lisa, how can you be a so-called perfectionist but you don't have any results to back it up? As hard as that was to come to terms with, that is definitely something I realized about myself. How can I be a perfectionist and I don't even have anything to show for it? And for that reason and a few other reasons, that is why I decided to make this video today, regardless of what was going on, regardless of how I feel, because it ends here, it stops here. No more procrastination, no more perfectionism. I am just going to go and not look back and hope for the best. That's pretty much all I can do. That's all I can control. Me. You guys are probably wondering what that intro was all about. What does Lisa mean by she's starting again? It quite literally means that I am 29 years old and I am starting life again. As scary as that sounds, as scary as that is, the past year and a half, God has literally press the reset button on my life. And when I say that, I mean that quite literally. I've had quite a few life-changing events happen to me in the past year and a half that I have had literally no other choice but to sit down and face the music. If I'm gonna keep it real, I was avoiding that for a long time. I wasn't entirely aware that I was running away from anything. I thought what I was doing was normal. However, God literally plucked me up from whatever I was doing, whatever I was around, and literally said, Lisa, you cannot carry on this way. And for the first time in a long time, I need to get some tissue because this is a bit ridiculous. Okay, I've put a timer on of 1 hour because I don't want to be talking for any longer than that. I have a tendency to waffle. I've got my tissue. My concealer is already doing that thing, but we're just gonna roll with the punches. For the first time in a long time, it's literally me versus me. For somebody like me, that is an extremely foreign concept. I've spent all of these years, my childhood, my teenage years, my early 20s, growing up, learning things, going through things, experiencing things. And I feel like this is the first time in a long time where I feel like I am actually learning from things, learning about me and who I am. This is the first time I would say ever, or that I recall, that I've actually had a relationship with myself, which is absolutely crazy, but that is the reality of it, and that is my truth. You know how they say that God will put you in certain situations so you can realize and understand the things he wants you to understand? Yes, that's exactly what I've been going through. When I say my life did a 180, I say it again. God literally plucked me out from where I was, what I was doing, and said, yo, this isn't gonna work anymore. For so many years, I've used things, I've used people, used everything I could to avoid facing myself. Getting to the point where you are forced to do it, where you have no other choice, is extremely uncomfortable. There is not one part of my life that God left to rest. Everything is literally being churned and turned and reset. I am starting everything again. And if I'm gonna be honest, all of this has been scary, nerve-wracking to the point where I just want to run away and hide and do the easiest thing, do the thing that's most comfortable for me. It's anxiety inducing. The fear that I have felt in the past year has literally been paralyzing. I have never ever felt so scared of what is to come, of what lies ahead. For the first time in a long time, I am not in control. I'm still working on it, but I have relinquished all control. I have surrendered everything to God. I've been doing things my way and the way that I knew for so long. It wasn't working. Having to deal with all of that whilst still doing life, whilst maintaining a relationship, whilst maintaining friendships, whilst working. Guys, if you can hear me scratching a little, it's because I have a mosquito bite on my leg. I absolutely love everything about summer apart from the flying insects. This big fat red bite on my leg. Juggle relationships, juggle friendships, juggle work, and just living and breathing. To say it's a lot is an understatement. It actually feels like I am being crushed in every corner. At some points, it has felt like the walls are closing in on me. I can't say that I don't feel like that anymore. I don't feel like that all the time. I really try to avoid making this video because for a long time I've always felt like you can't talk about your situation or talk about what you're going through until you've actually come out on the other side, until you're actually a success story. Almost like saying I can't give advice on how to run a business or how to be an entrepreneur because I'm not exactly where I want to be yet in my business journey, in my entrepreneur journey, so I can't give advice. That is just how I've always thought. When I haven't got it all together, and some days I don't even know what I'm doing. And on top of that, there was also a deep sense of shame, deep sense of shame and embarrassment that I once felt like, not that I had it all, but I was getting there. I had it together. And to now almost be at what feels like rock bottom, I was embarrassed. I started to run away from a lot of people and a lot of things because I just didn't want to have to talk about it. It's almost in a sense a fall from grace, maybe actually in the reverse. I once felt like I was on a steady pathway. I literally felt like that pathway crumbled underneath my feet. Perspective is everything. I have now realized that a lot of times God is saving us from ourselves, even though having that fall from grace was traumatic to say the least. I'm glad things happened the way they happened, and I'm glad I eventually got to the point that I did. I could not go on the way I was going. I literally would have self-destructed, and I wouldn't have been able to confidently stand in all that God has for me and stand in God's purpose for me. And that's not to say I've reached my destination. I feel like I have a long way to go. That's what it feels like at times, but I am grateful nonetheless. If anything that is not aligned with God's purpose for me, I do not want it. I unfortunately have had to learn the hard way when it comes to going in directions that just weren't meant for you. The longer you try to control everything for yourself, the longer you try to control the results, the longer you think that you can do it without God's grace, without God's help, the harder it will be. I would rather stop and bow and accept defeat now than continue and live the rest of my life and have to suffer the consequences at a later time. I have absolutely no desire to do that. So if it has to be hard now, if I have to be uncomfortable now, then that is absolutely what I'm willing to do. And that's what I've been doing, because it's been hard. It's been hard, and it's still hard. I do feel lighter because I have peace knowing that God will always stand right beside me. This was supposed to be a cute video. It's not going to be a cute video because my makeup's going to be ruined. God literally uprooted every single area of my life, relationships, friendships. And it's been so weird to see that happen, because if I'm honest, friendships have always been my safe place in my life. I do not have the closest of relationships with my family, so I've always sought that safety, that love from outside sources, and mainly from my friends. And my friendships are something I've always tried to, no matter what I'm dealing with, I have to maintain. Friendships are something I've always seen as super important. My friendships have always grounded me. They've always been an anchor for me. So to even see the uprooting of some of my friendship was so hard. To get to that point at this stage in my life where I once felt so sure about not just my friendships but everything in my life, I don't know any other better word to use other than traumatic. I've never been in this place in my life before. All of these things that once used to keep me so grounded, to now have to question all of these things, think twice about all of these things, to now have to what feels like start again. I was literally shaken to my core. It honestly felt like I was at war. My world was blowing up and falling down around me, and nothing I knew was the same. I'm 29, soon going to be 30. Around this age is when most people start to truly know themselves, is when most people start to truly be established in their life, and when they're sure of themselves, and when they're most sure of the people that are around them, and when they're most sure of what they want to do and where they want to go. I have got to 29 and I have not a effing clue. I'm not even sure I want to do this anymore. I have been a content creator and influencer for majority of my adulthood. This is all I know. Last year I woke up and I seriously questioned whether this was for me anymore. I didn't know if this video was going to be as hard. And to be so uncertain and to be so unsure at this stage of my life, where I feel like almost everybody around me is sure of themselves. They know what they want to do and they know where they want to go and they know who they want to be with. I'm just sitting here like, I don't know. Safe to say, my makeup is officially ruined. I'm going to sit as far back as I possibly can, so we're just not going to focus on the panda eyes that I have right now. Fenty Beauty coming in clutch, and to be 29 and feeling like shit, have I been going the wrong way this whole time? My foundation, my core was shaken. The only thing that has not shaken is God, the one and only constant in my life. And I think that was part of the lesson that he was trying to teach me, and still teaching me, if I'm honest. Hey, hello. You can't do this all by yourself. When are you gonna realize that that's not working anymore? I've been such a control freak. I try to control every aspect of my life. As soon as one thing didn't go right, I would panic. I would get super anxious. I would do everything in my power to make sure that things went my way. At a certain point, I had to realize that is not only just literally impossible, it is also physically impossible. I've spent so long trying to control and direct and be in charge of every minute detail. I failed to see what was really going on. I was doing a lot of things the wrong way, and for the past 8 months to a year, I feel like I've literally just been stood still, just looking around like, okay, where do I go now? What do I do now? What do I want to do now? There was a point where I was over the sadness, I was over the depression, I was moving forward, or what felt like I was moving forward, but I was really stagnant. I was paralyzed with the fear that I was going to get it wrong again. I was so scared to make the wrong decision that I felt like, okay, if I just make no decision, then nothing can go wrong. And that is just not true. If there's one thing that I have learned in the past year and a half, it is that if you don't make decisions, life will make those decisions for you. I saw that play out in almost every area of my life. I was just so scared to do the wrong thing and make the wrong decision. I thought up until now I was making the right decision. Not only was I scared to make a decision, I no longer trusted myself. And as much as God wants us to rely on him, that was the complete opposite of what he was trying to teach me and what he was trying to show me. So not only am I having to unlearn everything that I once knew, but I am having to learn how to trust myself again and learn how to trust that I am making the right decisions. But learning how to trust that you are making the right decisions also comes with making the right decisions. It's kind of almost like science. When it comes to science, it's all about the facts. There being evidence to back up these facts. I feel like I got to the point where I realized that I don't have any evidence to back up my facts. I want to trust myself, but honestly, I don't really have much evidence to show that I have been making the right decisions. An inability to make a decision. I for a long time have been very indecisive. As crazy as it seems, for somebody who's supposedly supposed to be a perfectionist and so controlling and wants everything to go her way, there's a lot of things in life that I have just left up to fate. And there's been so many things where I think I'm making a decision, but I'm not really making a decision. I'll give you a quick, insignificant in the grand scheme of things example. I started my Invisalign journey in 2021, I believe. Or is it the beginning of 2022? I think it was actually 2022. I was maybe like a couple of months in and I had an appointment. Day before, I had an argument with my ex. Now, in hindsight, was this argument different to any other argument? Absolutely not. So I woke up that morning feeling super anxious and I decided that I could not do anything. And keyword, I decided that I could not do anything because I felt like I couldn't do anything. So with my dentist, if you're going to cancel or reschedule your appointment, you have to do it at least 48 hours before your appointment. My appointment literally being at 9 a.m. and this is at 8 a.m. and I'm still at home trying to cancel my appointment. Not only was I anxious about what was going on in my personal life, but I'm now anxious about cancelling my appointment. I called my mum and I asked my mum whether she would call the dentist for me and cancel my appointment for today, but reschedule it for another time. She calls me back, she lets me know that, yeah, I've cancelled the appointment. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Did you reschedule the appointment? She was like, no, I didn't do that. I was in a rush. I had to come off the phone. It's like, okay, you know what? That's fine. I will call and reschedule myself. That rescheduling literally never happened. I was so embarrassed by cancelling last minute. Literally a whole year and a half went by and I had not picked up the phone to reschedule my appointment. They called me, guys. Hello, Lisa. Are you coming to finish your Invisalign? After that, I booked an appointment and I started my Invisalign journey again. The last dentist appointment I had, my dentist basically was like, your Invisalign time is kind of now up. For every Invisalign treatment that you start, you have 2 years to complete that treatment. So whether I had finished my treatment or not, the 2 years was done. He basically said, listen, Lisa, we've gotten to a certain point with your teeth, not where I'd like to be, but this is where we're at. So either we can finish the Invisalign treatment here and not have your teeth perfect and exactly how you want them to be and how I want them to be, and we could just go ahead and do the composite bonding, or you're going to have to start another treatment plan, which you're going to have to pay for again. Ultimately, I decided that I would pay for a new treatment plan and I would not necessarily start again, but pick up where I left off. I'm actually going to see this through. That day, I left the dentist and I went home and I cried. I was crying because I had realized how much my indecisiveness, how much my inability to be proactive sometimes had really affected my life. And just my inability to make a decision that, okay, Lisa, I want to carry on doing my Invisalign journey, so I need to book an appointment. And now I'm literally having to basically almost start my Invisalign journey again. There's nothing that money can't fix, so I wasn't too upset about that. I was actually more upset about the fact that this is something that was so avoidable. This is something that didn't need to get to this point, but it got to this point because of my inability to make a decision. And I'd realized that this was essentially the running theme in my life, always umming and ahhing, so unsure of myself and of my decisions. I have such little confidence in myself and in my decisions because I don't make decisions. At least if I made decisions, whether they were the right decisions or wrong decisions, I will use that knowledge, I will use that wisdom to make this decision. You know what, Lisa, trust yourself. You've got it this time because you made a decision last time and it went well, or you made a decision last time and maybe it wasn't the right thing to do, but now you know better, so you will make a better and wiser decision. And the Invisalign, in the grand scheme of things, is so inconsequential, and it's also something that can be easily fixed. But there's other things and other decisions that weren't so inconsequential that I failed to take proactive steps about. I'm still suffering the consequences of those indecisions. Is that something that I have learned from and I will never make that mistake again? Absolutely. Has it been hard and uncomfortable? Yes. Am I moving through that regardless? Yes, because I don't have a choice. Either way, I have to come out on the other side, and I would hate to come out on the other side not having learned my lesson, not being wiser and not being better for it. Sometimes life will teach you very hard and uncomfortable lessons. I'm learning to move through all of that with grace and with my head held high. Because for a long time, I did not have my head held high. I had my head down in shame and embarrassment. At this age and at this point in my life, this is where I'm at, and I'm still having to learn those lessons. But I realized in the long run, none of that will matter. And especially in the last couple of months, I am learning to love the life that is in front of me no matter what. Often we do this thing where it's like, oh, when this works out and when this happens and when I accomplish this and when I do this and when I do this, then I'll be happy. And I've realized that I cannot continue to wait for things to happen and work out for me to be happy. God forbid, what if things never work out for me the way I want them to? Does that mean that I will spend the rest of my life on this earth being upset, depressed, and sad? Life is way too short to do that. You can literally be here today, gone tomorrow. It's really important to choose wisely how you spend your precious time on this earth. Do I want to spend my precious time on this earth sad, ruminating, longing, or do I want to spend the rest of my time on this earth moving forward regardless of what I have, what disappointments I faced? I never want to be as still and as stagnant as I have been in previous years. I want to always remember just how precious and short life is. I have also been dealing with a lot of health issues, and I said I wasn't going to talk about this until I was on the other side of my health issues. But again, if there's anything that I have learned recently, is that you can't always wait for things to be perfect. So here I am sharing. So about 2 years ago, I would say maybe 2.5 years ago, I had a seizure for the first time ever. I was taken to the hospital and the doctor had asked me whether I had had any seizures before, and I told him no, I hadn't. He said I should just continue as normal. However, that if I had another seizure, then chances are that I did have epilepsy. Not only did I have another seizure, but I had multiple, and I am still having seizures till this day. As of yet, I have not officially been diagnosed with epilepsy. I had a seizure as recently 2 weeks ago, and if you have epilepsy or you know somebody who has epilepsy, you will know how debilitating and draining epilepsy can be. Epilepsy is not something that stops you from living your day-to-day, so you can still go about and live life as normal. But when you do have a seizure, it's literally like pressing the pause button on your life. I had a seizure recently 2 weeks ago, and it was one of the worst seizures I have had, which is crazy because the seizure that I had before that, which was about 2 months ago, that was the seizure that caused me to dislocate my shoulder. So being that the last seizure I had was even worse than that, you can imagine just how bad the seizures are getting. I will do a separate video at a later time getting into my seizures and epilepsy as a whole. I won't talk about it too much in this video. So with everything else that's been going on in the background, I am having to deal with these seizures as well. My seizures are stress induced. Usually when I'm going through a very stressful time or I am not emotionally stable, that usually causes me to have a seizure. The last time I got into a big massive argument with somebody, I had a seizure 3 days later. Yeah, when I tell people don't stress me, I literally mean it with my whole entire body. Don't stress me, don't stress me. It's honestly been a lot, I won't lie to you guys. But it's crazy because if anything, I feel like these seizures have made me so much stronger. As stressful as these seizures have been, I have never felt stronger. It's not even that I feel stronger in the physical sense, but emotionally, I feel stronger than ever. As draining as the seizures can be, I will not, and I have no plans to let this defeat me. God willing, I know that my seizures will come to an end. I am praying with all my heart and all my soul that the last seizure I had is the last seizure I will ever have. No matter what happens, I will continue to remain strong. That is part of the things that have been going on behind the scenes. I haven't wanted to share this with you guys for so long because I believe I almost have a duty to come online and be happy. Who wants to watch their favorite content creator and every single time they come online, they're crying all the time and they're upset all the time? As much as people encourage content creators to be vulnerable and open up, nobody wants to see that all the time. For a long time, I felt like it was my duty to come on here and not necessarily pretend or fake anything, but to stay positive, to stay strong, even when I didn't feel like it. And in some ways, I felt like that has saved my life, having to show up online consistently, whether I'm in the mood or not. If I didn't have this job to show up to every single day, who knows where I'd be right now? Who knows what mental state I'd be in right now? Maybe I would have let the sadness get to me. Maybe I would have let the depression get to me. Last year, I know I shared a little bit of what I was going through with you guys. I was depressed, I'd gained what felt like loads of weight. I really wasn't feeling myself at all. However, I didn't really have any other choice but to show up. And I feel like that is the key to life, to keep showing up anyway. You owe it to yourself to show up anyway. And it might have felt like I owed it to you guys, but really and truly, I owed it to myself. It's been a crazy year and a half. There's been heartbreak, there's been disappointment, there's been depression, there's been weight gain, there's been seizures, there's been death, there's been so much. I am by no means necessary on the other side of it. I don't know when I will see the other side of it, but for now, I just have to keep going. I trust God implicitly. He will never fail me. It's getting dark now, the sun is going down, so I need to wrap this up quickly. I've been talking for far too long. All of those days, I thought I was showing up for you guys. I thought I was showing up for my job, but really and truly, I was showing up for myself. And showing up for yourself is gonna look different every single day. This is the first time in a long time that I am consistently showing up for myself. This is the first time in a long time that I am keeping the promises that I made to myself. And that is how you build a relationship with oneself. That is how you build a healthy relationship with anybody, let alone yourself. I had to come to the realization that I did not have a healthy relationship with myself. That's definitely something I've been unpacking in therapy. I wasn't showing up for myself. I didn't trust myself. Would you guys be in a relationship or a friendship where you didn't trust that person, with somebody who constantly let you down, with somebody who constantly disappointed you, with somebody who constantly didn't follow through with the things that they said they were gonna do? Would you be in a relationship with somebody like that? No. So why would you be in a relationship like that with yourself? And that is what I had to realize, that was the relationship I had with myself. I was just treating myself really badly, actually. I was in a toxic relationship with myself. I cannot be in a healthy relationship with anybody, romantic or platonic, until I'm in a healthy relationship with myself. I cannot show up effectively for anybody until I learn how to show up effectively for myself. And these were things I just was not doing up until maybe last year. I literally had to do a complete 180 and look at things so differently. Look at the things I was doing before and realize that, hey Lisa, these things were not working. You need to stop and you need to start again. So as hard as starting again has been, I know it is going to be the most rewarding thing I have ever done for myself. And I know future me is going to thank me endlessly for having the courage to get up and start again. For anybody who is going through something similar or feel the same way, do yourself a favor and get up. Nobody is coming to save you. You have to save yourself. I used to be so dependent on everything and everyone else. I didn't trust myself to do anything. I got to a place in my life where I felt like I had to outsource everything. And in no way am I saying that don't outsource and ask for help when you need it, but I wasn't just asking for help. I was literally almost asking people to live my life for me. Whether it's the hard way or the easy way, you have to learn that nobody is coming to save you. Your knight in shining armor is you. As stressful as the last year and a half has been, as painful as all of the lessons I've learned have been, I am so glad and I am so thankful that I have gone through those things and I stand where I am today. Again, I am by no means on the other side of things. I don't know how close, I don't know how far I am to being on the other side of things. Only God knows. I am moving forward regardless, not sugarcoating it, not putting the influencer aesthetic on it. It's really been difficult. Some days it's still difficult, but I am grateful for everything. I'm grateful that God even woke me up this morning. I am so super grateful for the people that have stuck with me regardless. When you are going through things like this, you will see the people that really care about you and that really have your back. It's easy for people to care about you. It's easy for people to have your back. It's easy for people to show up for you when things are going good. Who really matters are the people that show up for you when it's bloody hard, when it's pissing rain outside. The people that show up for you through and in the storms. And my prayer is that I can be just as good to those people as they were to me. I don't know if there's anything else to say. I don't know what the future holds for me. I have a lot of decisions to make, but every decision that I make that concerns you guys, I will be sure to let you guys know. But as for now, I'm gonna keep showing up, I'm gonna keep doing my job, and I'm going to continue to do the things that I said I was going to do. Not only is it important in life to show up for yourself consistently, it's also super important in life to know when to pivot. That's where I am right now. I'm deciding what different looks like for me. So yeah, I think that is pretty much it. I have probably talked you guys ear off. I love you guys so much. Obviously, there's a lot of you that I haven't met in real life and I don't know in real life, but it honestly feels like I know you guys in real life, and you guys are part of the people that consistently show up for me, consistently watching my videos, consistently watching my content, even when my content isn't the best, even when my content becomes a bit sporadic. I appreciate you wholeheartedly for all of your love and your support. I love you guys so much, like I really do. We're sisters, whether you like it or not. Even if I don't continue this influencer thing forever, we are locked in for life, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to go ahead and click that subscribe button and give this video a big thumbs up. I will see you guys in my next one. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Bye.